Why is having a selling strategy so important? Well, first of all, it's going to drive the entire business. It's going to drive all of your decision making, who you're going to hire, what skills you're going to hire for, not just within sales, by the way, but throughout your entire organization, marketing, operations. It's actually going to drive your operation plan because the way that you distribute your product or service is actually going to determine what your operation plan is. Are you selling direct? Are you selling through distributors? How are you going to build your own retail stores? The operation plans are completely different from that. It might even drive your product features. You might need certain product features to actually address the needs of a certain reseller that you're selling through. Interestingly enough, packaging strategies, wildly important and wildly different, because if you're selling on a retail shelf, the package is actually what might actually sell the product, where if you're selling online and you stick it in a bag, packaging might not be very important, right? Your pricing strategies, they could be wildly different from selling in retail, selling through distributors, or actually selling online direct, because the margins based on how you sell can be very different. And then your marketing programs and your budgets are also different because, and you need to consider this because each selling model actually is paired with an ideal marketing strategy. And so you have to pair those two together. I can't tell you how important that is to make sure your marketing strategies go along with the selling model that you select. They go together perfectly. And then finally, how are you going to fund all of this? And the funding strategies based on the model that you pick or models that you pick are going to be different. Making decisions around your selling strategy is similar to building a house in that your selling strategies are the foundation of your entire business. So the other problem is that if you try to change your selling strategies midstream, it can be a bit challenging. It doesn't mean that you can't add different methods, you can't adjust things, and or if you need to, you have to change it. It's certainly okay. It just makes it a bit harder. Kind of like when you're building a house and you forget to put the bathroom on the first floor, and then all of a sudden, you have to add the bathroom. It's a lot more expensive and it's a lot more work. And that's really what I'm talking about here. So let's make sure that we take the time to really get this right. Now here's the good news, is that most of this is defined for you. Doesn't mean you can't define it yourself, but most of this is defined for you, and that your industry or your competitive landscape is actually going to be a major determinant on what selling strategies you actually use. So this is actually a good thing, right? It doesn't mean that you can't get creative, however, and I love people that get creative. I love entrepreneurs that try to break the mold. I love them to be contrarian and different, right? Which is really good, but you have to have a rationale for doing so. That's important. You can't just kind of be different just to be different. I will tell you though, using a different selling strategy can actually be a good thing in terms of creating a differentiator amongst your competitors. Let's say your major competitors all sell through retail stores, and you say, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm only going to sell online, as an example. So now all of a sudden you're changing the entire economic model. I would suggest that Amazon did this, right? They said, hey, we're going to create a more efficient model online. We're not going to put up brick and mortar stores. Of course, fast forward 20 years, and what do they have now? Some brick and mortar stores, which they just rolled out recently. So it is very interesting how things can change.